and that never gets old. What's going on, guys? As you can probably tell from the title, this video is going to be about the FZ-07 and is it a good starter bike or not. In my opinion, I would say yes and no. It just depends on your driving level and how much you know about traffic, if you can handle a clutch, if you're not a dumbass, if you're responsible and you can handle yourself and you're not gonna go around trying to do stupid shit, trying to pop wheelies on the first day you get it, then yeah, you can probably start off on FZ-07 and be just fine. Me personally, I was gonna get a Ninja 300 and I came so close to buying one, and then I started reviewing or watching reviews about the FZ-07 and I fell in love with the bike. The sound of the bike was actually what made me fall in love with it. And yeah, so I saved up my money and I decided to buy one. And I had never ridden a motorcycle before, never ridden a dirt bike, never had any motorcycle experience, nothing like that. I just took the MSF course, got my license, and then just went and bought the bike. And yeah, I fucking love it. I'm so glad I didn't start on a 300 because I've had this bike for 3 or 4 months and I already feel like I'm ready for something bigger and faster. Like I'm getting ready to step up to the FZ-09 because I just want more power and want to be able to go faster already. And if I would have got the 300, man, I would have grew out of that thing in like 2 weeks. So yeah, if you're responsible and you're not trying to ride around like an idiot and fucking pop wheelies on your first day getting the bike and you respect the bike, then you should have no problem starting on it. You'll get used to it real quick. Just take it to a parking lot, ride it around for a couple hours and you'll get used to it. You should get a feel for the clutch and how the brakes are and everything, and you'll be just fine. I probably spent like 2 or 3 days riding around before I decided to take it on the freeway. And it was a little sketchy the first time going on the freeway just because the wind blows this thing around like fucking crazy. And especially like not having a windscreen or anything right here, all the wind hits your face and just pulls your head back when you're going like 70 or 80 on the freeway. Around town it's fine, you don't really feel it, it doesn't really do anything to you, but when you're on the freeway, it like snaps your head back. If you're a responsible person, you've been driving cars for a few years, you know how traffic works, you don't have to like watch out and learn how the road's working. If you're not like some 16-year-old kid going out to buy a bike, then yeah, you'll be just fine starting on FZ-07. I think it's like the perfect beginner's bike actually for a responsible rider. Yeah, every car I've ever had has been a stick shift. I've never owned an automatic, so I know how a clutch works, and yeah, I didn't have to sit here and like learn how a clutch works. All I had to do is get a feel for how the one on this bike is, which only took a couple hours. I feel like if I got the 300, I'd be like giving it full throttle all the time and not going anywhere. I mean, even this thing, like after a couple months, I just want something faster and bigger already. And man, I love hauling ass. It's like the perfect size. I'm 5'10", 175 pounds. I can flat foot it. No problem. I mean, it's a light ass bike, especially when you're like going. It's like so flickable, so light, maneuverable. If you're in California, this is the perfect bike for lane splitting. It's just so narrow that you can fit through just about any situation, any gap. Yeah, and it just feels right. It feels like a good beginner's bike. It's not too big. I mean, it does have a crap ton of torque. Like, you give it too much gas out of first gear and this thing's gonna pop a wheelie. Same thing in second gear. I've done it a few times on accident. Yeah, it's a little sketch, but yeah, once you know how to handle it, know how to tame it, you'll be just fine. And like I said, in like a week or two of riding around, you'll be good to go. Yeah, I love this bike. Absolutely love it. But I'm just ready for something a little bigger, a little faster, and I think the FZ-09 is gonna be exactly what I'm looking for. I was gonna start on FZ-09. After checking out how much torque it has, how much power it has compared to the FZ-07, I thought I might as well start on this one and then I'll just upgrade when I'm ready. The seating position is like, you're literally like sitting in a chair, like a computer chair. You're sitting straight up, which is kind of nice and not nice at the same time, I guess. Sometimes like when I'm up in the mountains, I want more of a sporty position. I'm kind of like tucked into it when I'm riding. For around town, which is most of my riding, I'd say like 90% of my riding is just around town, this is definitely a good bike. Yeah, everything about it just feels good. I mean, the brakes are a little squishy in the front, and the suspension, like anytime you hit the brake, you lean forward like crazy, which I don't know, kind of sucks. The brakes are alright, I guess. They could be better. The suspension, like a lot of people say, is really squishy, which I kind of understand now. It's definitely not great and not confident inspiring, like in the twisties and stuff when you're riding up in the mountains. Yeah, the seat's pretty comfortable. I've gone on like a 2 or 3 hour ride. Yeah, it's pretty comfortable. Let's see, I got 3,800 miles on it. I've had it for about 3 or 4 months. So I've been riding the shit out of this thing. I ride it literally every day. What I love about this bike is just the amount of torque that is like ready for you in all gears. Like you just give it gas in any gear, any RPM, and you're fucking gone, which is really nice on the freeway. And like I said, this thing is narrow as fuck for lane splitting. The only thing I've had issues with is these mirrors. I've clipped other mirrors just a few times, but I could always get bar ends or something like that, switch them out. That seems to be the only issue with lane splitting. Yeah, I really like the dash on this thing, especially the gear indicator. That was kind of a big seller for me, because I didn't want to have to sit around and guess on like what gear I was at, especially for learning how to ride a motorcycle for my first time riding. Yeah, this thing is a fucking blast to ride. Literally every time I get on this bike, I just have a big old smile on my face. This thing is fun to ride. What the fuck's going on there? What the? Fucking people don't know how to drive. Yeah, that's one thing you gotta watch out for, is fucking people don't know how to drive. They're on their cell phones all the time, like that bitch right there. People don't have respect for motorcycles at all. So I had to buy this high-vis jacket. These fucking people are always turning into my lane, always almost hitting me. Just fucking not paying attention. Now that I've been riding this bike for a few months now, it does feel a little small, especially like going to the dealership sitting on other bikes. This thing definitely feels like it's just a little bit smaller than all the other bikes, which I guess is good for learning. It's super light too. I believe it's like 396 pounds, somewhere around there. Just very manageable. What is wrong with this fucking Jeep? Driving like a bitch. So yeah, basically if you're a good driver, you've been driving for a few years, you got some years under your belt, driving in traffic and all kinds of different situations, and you can kind of predict how people drive, you will be a good motorcycle rider. Like I said, I've been driving for 10 or 11 years now, before I finally decided to get a motorcycle, and never been in an accident. Got a crap ton of speeding tickets, but that's about it. And yeah, I've been just fine. The only close calls I've had are people merging into my lane, which is why I decided to get the high-vis jacket. And that problem stopped once I got this jacket and I put the HID headlight on there. Like, people fucking see me now. And then with the 2-wheelers exhaust, they definitely hear me, because that shit's fucking loud. If you've never ridden a motorcycle before and you're thinking about getting this bike, if you're responsible enough and you've been driving long enough to where you don't have to worry about learning how traffic works and all that crap, then I think you'll do just fine. Basically after that, all you really need to learn is throttle control and how to use the clutch. And if you drive a stick shift, you already know how a clutch works, so it's really simple. You literally pick it up in a couple hours. So basically the main thing is just learning the throttle control. And especially with this bike, because it's got so much torque, you want to learn that real fast and not just go out driving on the road for your first time. Like, take it to a parking lot, ride around there for a couple hours, get a feel for how the throttle is, so you're not at a stoplight and accidentally popping the clutch and fucking looping the thing. Overall, I think this is definitely a perfect beginner's bike for the responsible person that wants to ride a motorcycle, that wants a little bit more power than 300 and doesn't want to be tired of that shit right away. After seeing people's reviews about 300s and like seeing other riders on a 300 and seeing how fucking small they look on that bike, I think it's small. The little dude on that bike too, unless it's a chick. And how slow they take off and all that shit. It's just definitely not worth the money. Save up a little bit more, get the FZ-07, and you'll be a lot happier, a lot gladder you did. It's definitely a long-term bike, and it gets fucking amazing gas mileage too. Like, I ride this thing hard as fuck. I'm always like full throttle. And let's see, I average 47.4 miles to the gallon. That's all around town driving and pushing this thing fucking hard. You know, if I wanted to, I'd probably get closer to 55 miles to the gallon if I took it easy, didn't ride this thing so hard, but it's just hard not to go fast. Which is why you don't want to get a 300 or a 250, especially a 250. That thing's fucking, it's like riding a scooter. It's stupid. I got a buddy that is kind of looking into motorcycles, and he can't really afford anything expensive or whatever. I told him, you know what, dude, if you can't afford it, just get a 250 and you'll fall in love with it and want to save up for something bigger. And he goes out, does a little bit of research, comes back to me a couple weeks later and tells me he's gonna buy a fucking scooter, a little Vespa or some Chinese ass scooter, 150 cc's. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna ride that thing and you're gonna want something like an hour later. You're gonna be tired with it in an hour. Even if you get a Ninja 250 or a 300, you're gonna ride that thing for a couple days and want something bigger. I'm like, dude, trust me, just get a motorcycle, don't get a scooter. You're gonna hate that shit. It's stupid. Plus you can't take it on the freeway, you can't do shit with it. You barely keep up with traffic. So all in all, the FZ-07 is a great beginner's bike. I think that's what it was designed for. It just got a shit ton of torque. It doesn't really have much high end. Like when you're in the higher up in the gears, you really don't have a crap ton of power. You definitely have linear torque throughout the whole thing. The torque is very linear, which is nice about it. You have it at all RPMs, which is one of the things I love about this bike and why I want to get the FZ-09. Oh man, I love it. If you're looking to get your first bike and you're considering getting the FZ-07, you never ridden a motorcycle before, just do it. Just do it and be responsible. Take it slow, learn, don't fucking go take it out on the freeway like the first hour that you buy it, or go around racing and shit. Go around trying to learn how to wheelie on your first day. Don't do any of that stupid stuff. Get the motorcycle, take it to a parking lot, ride it around for a couple hours, do the same thing the next day, and you'll be good to go. People are stupid and unpredictable, and you gotta understand how traffic works and everything before just trying to jump on a motorcycle and ride it. It's already confusing enough using both feet, both hands at all times, and then to have to watch out for traffic too and watch out for stupid drivers. It's not easy. Probably couldn't see me, but wave anyway. This bike just feels right. Like, there's just something about it that is easy to ride. The only thing that's kind of sketchy is just how much torque it has, especially like off the line. It's just fucking crazy how much torque it has. Taking off from a stop sign and fucking accidentally wheeling across the whole intersection, yeah, that shit'll happen. Or being in second gear and giving it just a little too much gas, the wheel comes right up. It's a little sketchy at times, but once you learn how to control that power, this bike is a blast to ride. Especially like taking this thing up into the mountains, up into the twisties. Man, it's nice having that much torque to be able to just come out of a corner hauling ass. I think that's like one of the main things that actually sold me on this bike, was just how much torque it has compared to horsepower, and compared to other bikes too. And it's all low-end torque and mid-range torque, which is really nice. And it fucking sounds amazing. Yeah, you just give it some gas and it is gone. No matter what RPMs you're at, it just fucking takes off. Why are you creeping, dude? Dude, why are you creeping? Yeah, it is a fucking monster. Well guys, I hope this video helped you out if you're considering buying an FZ-07 or starting on this bike. If you got any more questions or anything, just leave them down in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them. And yeah, don't forget to fucking English. Don't forget to subscribe if you like the video and give it a thumbs up. Thanks guys.